That's the way it's gonna be, little darling. I'm not gonna sing any more of the song so we don't get YouTube struck.
I'd like to. I really would be impressive if the content audio picked that up. It really would be quite impressive.
It'd be like, yo, that's how good I am, motherfucker. In case it wasn't obvious, we're back in this bitch. Your boys are back. Graham Banks, back in the building.
How are you, sir?
Oh, yeah? Yeah, alright.
Yeah, good.
I was so tempted to just do the Funkmaster Flex, like, big yell. But all the testing we've been doing with this setup says to me, no, don't do that because it might scare the shit out of people. It scared me when I watched one of the tests.
So yes,
hey, yo, check this out.
What Steve is alluding to is that we are on YouTube as well. Well, we're going to be on YouTube. This is not live, but we're going to.
We've already been on YouTube for fucking ages.
We have been, yes, but this is the first time the podcast will be there.
Second time, because remember we did the golf one.
Oh, yeah, we did too. Yeah, that's right.
We tried playing golf and doing the podcast, which worked all right.
Didn't work out too bad. Yeah.
We just didn't stick with it.
Yeah. It's a bit of a pain to set up, really. So yes, we're on YouTube. The video of this and the podcast will go up at the exact same time each time it's released. Yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, we're trying to make.
It's a way of Graham doing less work because holy fuck. And I'm not saying that to make him seem lazy. Although that sounds like the sort of thing I would say just to take the piss.
Yeah, so I've sort of been back. Last couple of weeks I've sort of come back into this and catching up with Steve a little bit off sort of on Slack and stuff. Went through some health stuff. I'm on the other side of it now for the most part, so I'm pretty much kind of essentially back. So yeah, hopefully back to a normal schedule. Well, this will be the last one of the year, obviously, episode 274. We'll be back. I
didn't actually do that part.
We'll be back at the end of January probably for our Game of the Year podcast, which will be different from the last ones we've done the last couple of years because it just isn't been the quite same year for both of us. So we've got to sort of tweak it up a bit, but we'll.
But basically, the main reason it's going to be different is because you've played like fucking 600 hours of Satisfactory.
Yeah, well, there is that. Yes.
I just realised as you were telling the story because I'm like, ooh, I want to show the shirt I'm wearing. Oh wait, I probably shouldn't do that while Graham's being semi-serious.
Yeah, so that's basically the plan. We'll be back to the regular schedule from sort of February onwards. Yeah, podcast a couple of times a month, and then yeah, video stuff that Steve's been doing and I've been doing over the last couple of months will be in between those stuff. So yeah, so now you're wearing a t-shirt. Do your t-shirt thing before we move on to other stuff.
I'm wearing Fit for an Autopsy. Yay! Moving on.
So you went and saw them recently, I believe? Or you
yeah, oh fuck, yeah, we didn't talk about that.
It's been about 3 months since we've done one of these, so this intro is going to be fairly long. We're just catching up with general stuff before we get to our games, but yeah.
Yeah, I went and saw Fit for an Autopsy. They, ironically enough, I went and saw Fit for an Autopsy, then fucking 4 days later I tested positive for COVID.
No, I'm sure those two weren't related.
Did I talk? Because we talked about when I got COVID. I can't remember if we talked about me seeing Fit for an Autopsy.
I don't think we did. Maybe we did.
I don't know. I tested positive for COVID about 4 or 5 days after going to see Fit for an Autopsy. They were fucking awesome. They completely flattened and just leveled the place they were playing in. I briefly met Joe, the lead singer, after the show. He was really cool. Yep. I did have tickets to go see Volvadinia towards the end of November, but they had to pull out. They had to cancel and do a reschedule.
Oh, okay.
So sadly, I did not get to see the South African Slam Masters.
COVID? So then,
I think they were doing a Southeast Asian / Australian tour, and I think there was some COVID stuff on there, or I don't know. I can't remember.
Yep.
They've announced a European and a US tour with a bunch of other Unique Leader bands, and it's an insane lineup, and I'm hoping they bring some variant of that over here.
Okay. Yep.
But I'm not going to hold my breath. But god damn it, I mean, It was on a Thursday after work, so I was going to be rat shit the next day.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still kind of bummed that they didn't come over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because they're like one of my favorite bands. And I was really hoping I could meet Duncan, the lead singer, and like get another picture like I did with Joe. I'm on first name basis with these people, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm just so deep in that shit. I'm like fucking.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Not too sure the way you're talking makes sense considering the band tops you're playing. But anyway.
Yeah, I know, right? Yo, we're street, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Graham said, a little bit different in format, in presentation. Because this is the last show of the year, I should have asked this before we started recording. Did you want to talk about the Microsoft Activision shit at all, or not?
Nah, let's just wait until that's actually
because that's
finished.
Fucking mess.
It's weird what's happening there with all the Sony bullshit and the European.
Between the Sony bullshit, the FTC bullshit, the UK, the EU.
Yeah, it's
fans.
I'm sure it hasn't gone as quite the plan as what Microsoft expected, but at some level it's probably good that they're showing some scrutiny to a deal that big. But the stuff that Sony was coming out with against it was just so hypocritical and double standard. I always just gobsmacked they even thought that would not be met with any sort of backlash from various people, not let alone the actual people making
it was kind of nice for Microsoft at some point to finally go out and go, hey, yo, you're getting like Final Fantasy, Silent Hill, da-da-da-da-da-da.
And you've also in the past bought exclusive content told it from one platform to another. There's stories you've been doing that to make people have games not go into Game Pass. So, come on, just be a.
There's an argument to be made about the anti-competitive stuff they've engaged in Japan that has caused Xbox to not even bother.
Yeah, exactly. So both sides do it. Both sides do it, but I just think them come out saying all this stuff just as if they haven't done it, which is really weird to me. And not as if people go, well, wait a second, you do it too, and they wouldn't get called out.
The strangest part of it all is to treat Call of Duty like it's this big fucking...
That's the whole thing. The whole thing hangs on. If your platform relies on that to survive, you're kind of fucked. Cause, anyway. So before we get onto the games, you've bought stuff. Now we've had conversations about your purchasing habits in the past. So
I'm a fucking idiot.
Let's get this bit of a timeline right. So you bought your current computer, if we can call it that. Was it last year or the year before now?
I think the parts were coming in. I think it finally all got built and put together not last year, the year before, maybe
2021 sometime. That kind of makes sense to me.
I think so. I think it was start of 2021. It was all put together.
Yeah, that makes sense. And at the time,
because I was on the 38, basically waiting list for 3080s
to actually come into stock, and
I got one basically at launch.
At launch, yeah. But then you had to wait for it to actually physically come in and be, yeah. Okay.
But before we even get to that stupid purchase, there's another stupid purchase, and it's this.
It's a controller. Okay.
It is. So 8-Bit Dough, your friends and mine, did a, for lack of a better term, I believe they called it the Ultimate Xbox controller. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'll grab one of them. Why not? And this was like fucking 3 months ago. So I used it for a little bit and went back to the Razer Wolverine V2 because I like the button feel on that.
Yep.
But this is a nice little backup pad. Now, it's straight up a Razer, like 8-Bit Dough. Like it's got the 8-Bit Dough D-pad, all that sort of biz. Fairly solid. And it's not that expensive either. It's like $80 off the top of my head.
Okay. Yep.
So if you're after a alternative to the Xbox, I just realized they're somewhat convex. Convex is the one that curves up, right?
I think so.
Yeah, these sticks are slightly convex, but I ended up going back to the Wolverine just because I like the face button feel, the mechanical face buttons on those things. But yeah, nifty little pad, nifty little backup. 8-Bit Dough, they do some good stuff.
They do.
Now, to the main thing you were talking about.
Yes.
Now, this would, like, people who've been following some of the videos I've been putting up and the stupidly I want to say stupidly hilarious, but that's probably not the best, most accurate description. I've got most of January sorted out for Fridays for the kicking it old school because I spent the first day or two I was off. It wasn't even technically the first day or two. It was like the first weekend I was off.
Yeah.
Just basically playing through Quake and the different expansions and episodes and all that sort of deal to get kicking it old school sorted. And I talked about it at those points, like being dumb and getting a 4090. So by the time those videos hit, and it'll be me talking about, I might get a 4090. That'd be kind of stupid. I've got a 4090. I fucking bought a 4090. So I had some spare money from like pay additions and tax and all that sort of stuff sitting hanging over. And then I'm like, it's fucking hot over here. I'm going to look at getting air conditioning put in.
I'm going to make it hotter by putting in a 4090 card. Sorry.
Well, there is that. There is that part, which was really... It's actually like, even just now, just doing the recording, like, because there's a mirror next to my computer, because this is technically a bedroom when I'm sitting in, but I just use it as an office. So I can see the temperature thing on the computer in the mirror. It's only running at like 54.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So the idle temperature of what we're doing here is about 54 degrees. So I was looking into getting quotes for air conditioning and solar. I got solar panels booked to be installed the first Wednesday of January because I had a cancellation. So they're just like, hey, you want to put in that? I'm like, yep, go for it. They're going to be around between 7 and 7:30. I'm like, fuck. Because for those who haven't known, I've been getting up between like 9 and 11. Because, hey, I'm on holidays. And I fuck my sleep schedule up big time. So I wanted to make sure that I would be able to do the air conditioning and solar before I did anything graphics card related. Got the quotes, all good, sorted, bang, order this bitch. Ordered it on Christmas Eve from umart.com.au.
Okay. Yep.
And I got email confirmation of shipping on Wednesday.
So so Christmas Eve was a Friday. No, Saturday.
Christmas Eve was a Friday.
Saturday.
It was a Saturday. So I think I did. I can't remember. It was either the Friday or the Saturday I ordered it.
Yep.
So got the shipping confirmation. I paid for express post, which was only $5 extra.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Shipping confirmation on Wednesday. It rocked up on Friday.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm like, woo, that was worth it. Now, there's a computer shop near me. I went down there thinking, they'll be open, no dramas. Go down there, put my fucking ridiculously big PC, a box for the 3080 and the 4090 into a shopping trolley to take it over there because it was fucking hard enough to push the trolley, let alone carry it all. Got over to the shop, it's closed. I'm like, motherfucker. Looked it up online, and you know when you look up a shop online, Google has the time of the shop operation and that?
Yeah, like if for routine hours it's pretty accurate,
yeah.
But this time of year, who knows if it's accurate or not?
Exactly.
Because
they said, like, Google had it as open.
I don't know how they know what the hours are for this kind of year, because, yeah, I don't know if that's just the shop can do that themselves, or I don't know how it works, but anyway, yeah.
It had it being closed at 2:30, so I'm like, okay, that's fairly accurate for holiday times. But they were closed, so I'm like, motherfucker. I looked up computers Rockingham, which that gives a rough estimation of the sort of area I live. Try and find me. No, don't try and find me. Found a shop. I'm like, all right, let's go. The Google said, yep, open. Word, drove down there. Motherfucker, closed.
Have you ever heard of phoning? God damn it. You should phone these places. That's what I would do. What?
I had nothing else to do.
Yeah, but that's the...
Well, I literally put on Facebook yesterday.
There's nothing else to do, and there's wasting your time completely, and all the effort and...
It ended up coming through, though. And, like, people are working that have a go at me. They're like, did you even leave the house during the holidays? I'm like, yeah, shut up.
Yeah, I drove to
so this was an example of me leaving the house. So, looked up another place, found another place. I'm like, all right, let's give this a go. Drove down there, and as I pulled in front, I'm like, oh, I can't tell if they're open. There's no one standing there. Pulled in front, the doors opened. I'm like, yes! Got the stuff out, got it all set. About an hour later, 4090 installed, yo. About $89 on installation, which is not bad. I told my brother I was getting one. He's like, why don't you just put it in yourself? Don't be a lazy shit. I'm like, dude, it's a $3,300 card. I'm not fucking that up because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm the same with that sort of stuff nowadays.
So yeah, it's installed. Ironically enough, I've only been playing, like, the main thing I've played two things mainly on it so far that have done nothing to push it at all. The very first thing I did though was open Assassin's Creed Valhalla, run the benchmark, 120 odd frames a second.
Yep.
As an average, whereas before I was hitting between 50 and 60 on the benchmark.
Okay. Yep.
And then I thought, all right, real quick, I'll boot up Quake 2 RTX, because I know that's another thing that really the 3080 really struggled with at 4K. At 4K, I was hitting between 40 and 50 frames a second in the Quake 2 RTX version. 4K on this, 90 to 100. Boom. It's paid for itself. That's not true at all. But I will be doing a video where I look at Quake 2 RTX, the Portal RTX that came out for free, which has some DLSS 3 stuff in it, which the DLSS 3 stuff is exclusive to the 40 series cards. And I'll also do Doom, Ray Trace Doom. There's a part of me that's tempted to download the Ray Trace Quake and put that and do on top of the Quake videos I've been doing, but I'm like, nah, I'll leave that. But yeah, I got a 4090 now. I'm a fucking idiot. God damn it. Hey, you want to go into what we've been playing?
No, I bought stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's right.
So you weren't the only one who bought stuff. So I think, just to make sure, we did cover. I think before we finished, like the last episode we actually had, which I think was probably back in September. I think I had just upgraded my computer. Was about to upgrade it. I don't know the time frame.
You were thinking or had done it. I couldn't remember what you got though.
I can't remember. So
are you about to mention that you bought a new keyboard and mouse? Because you already talked about that too.
I think we've done that. So I covered that as well. But I upgraded my 2080 Super and my Ryzen. Not sure what CPU I had before. I upgraded both my CPU and my graphics card. So I went from a 2080 Super to a 3090 Ti.
Yep. How much was that?
That was about 1,500-ish for that.
Okay.
And then I went and also upgraded the CPU to... What did I end up getting? I'm not very good with the Ryzen, the AMD names, but... yeah, so I bought...
Go into Windows Explorer and just right-click on this PC.
No, I want to check what... I just want to get the pricing so I can give you an idea of it.
Oh, right. I haven't upgraded my CPU or anything. I just literally got the 4090 put in because I looked at benchmarks and stuff. A website did benchmarks for a 4090 running off a 5800X, which is the step down of the CPU from what I've got. Okay, and I'm like, what?
Yep.
But there is also an upgraded version of that come out that's apparently better than the CPU I've got in here.
Oh, okay.
But not by much. So I'm just like, whatever.
Just double checking. So I think. Yes. So I went to a 3080 Ti. My bad. 3080 Ti, 12 gig. 12 gig of RAM.
Oh, yep.
Went to an AMD Ryzen 9 5900X.
That's what I've got.
Which is a 12 core CPU. So I went to that as well. Had to get new cooling and stuff like that, so the cooling was like it's liquid cooling, which is weird.
Yeah, the liquid cooling stuff's really quite cheap.
Yeah, it's actually not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. So I did that back in early October. So that might have been, I don't know, as I said, I'm not sure when we last had the episode one of these. So Let's just.
It was like mid-September because I think maybe we didn't talk about it on recording. Maybe I can't fucking remember.
Last one we did was on the 12th of September. So yeah, that was we might have just talked.
Because I know we talked briefly about how satisfactory was going on your new card, but whether or not that was recorded or whether or not that was us talking about it on Slack or how that went. Yeah.
No, that was all before. So yeah, so the last episode was on the 12th of September. So yeah, so I've bought that since then. So Satisfactory, well, the main thing I played it for was Satisfactory. Satisfactory didn't actually do a massive spike in performance, but I wasn't expecting it to. So because of the nature of that game, it's a really the computational part of the game is where it really gets taxing.
Yeah, it hit the CPU more than the GPU.
Exactly. So so with the upgrade of the CPU, the frame rate's is not necessarily gone higher than what it was, but it's way more stable than what it was.
Yeah, it's less stuttery and all that sort of stuff.
And when it does stutter, it recovers quicker and gets back to normal quickly. So it's made a difference from that perspective. It hasn't gone from like 60 frames to 90 frames. It's always been around the 60 frame mark, but the stuttering is way less noticeable and quicker when it does happen and shorter and that kind of stuff. So from that perspective, it's been more than fine for me. So, but yeah, the other stuff I bought is this is the more recent one is I went and bought a new NAS. So
that's some of that network shit, isn't it?
Yes, this is a network attack NAS network attack storage for those who don't know.
I don't know.
So
did you get one of those Xbox fridges?
No, would like to.
I have thought about it multiple times. They're not that limited.
But who has them? EB Games, I guess. I've never seen them actually on sale.
JB's got them. I think Good Guys has them. A bunch of different places have them. Okay. Mighty Apes got them.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
I'm just not paying for shipping on those motherfuckers. Fuck that.
Yeah, so I bought a NAS. So essentially what I bought is so my equipment, my Xbox, my PlayStation 5, my amp, all that kind of stuff is actually in an equipment rack. It's actually in a rack. Like you would see in a network data storage center sort of thing. So I was actually able to buy what's known as a 4RU rack-mounted case. So it actually goes into the rack, into the rack mount, which is really neat. And bought. So it wasn't a branded thing. This is essentially a PC I bought that I turned into a NAS. So it's not a Synology, one of those sort of branded NASs you can buy. So yeah, so it's got 6 8 terabyte drives in it. So I've actually got.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 6 8 terabyte drives is what's in my NAS. So
they're not SSDs, are they? Because I don't even think you can get 8 terabyte SSDs.
No, you probably can be. You're paying an absolute small fortune for them. No.
Yeah.
These are just standard spinning hard drives. And I'm installed a open source software called True-NAS. And basically, True-NAS is the operating system essentially of the NAS. So I've got 38. I think it's 38. Might be 35. About 35 terabytes of storage that I've got. So yeah,
don't mind me. I'm just doing something. True-NAS Yo.
So yeah, so that's what I bought that. It's been great. It's got my backups on it. It's got my shared stuff on it that I share between computers. Main thing is it's got my Plex library on it, so that's all my movies and stuff that I've ripped off Blu-rays, which I've now starting to go through. I've just finished doing the Fast and Furious movies, all fucking 8 of them.
Good, you've got the most important ones done then.
So basically working through A through alphabetical, so I'm up to just started doing some of the G ones. So
you haven't done the Raid or John Wick then? What the fuck are you doing?
No, I'm getting there as of alphabetical. So
get the most important ones done first.
Gladiator is the next one on the list. So, but yeah, got John Wick 1.
My name is Maximus Aurelius something. I'm coming to fuck your shit up. Bah.
So yeah, that's what I spent. So I actually ended up spending. How much did you spend on your?
$3,300. That also doesn't include the money for the aircon and the solar.
So I spent that on the NAS.
Who's the fucking idiot now?
Yeah, I've got a whole computer for my money though. You got one thing.
I know.
Both of us.
I'm
upshot is
one
both
thing
of us
I
are
need.
happy, so we're good. You're happy with your
Are
purchase?
we
I'm assuming.
really happy?
Yeah, I'm happy with mine. This made a
I
massive
don't know.
difference. Anyway,
I've got to get a external hard drive because to get to the backups for the video stuff, it's starting to take up a little bit too much space than I'd like on the old SSD. So I need to get just just a regular old USB external hard drive to put them on.
but why do you need to keep them? On YouTube, aren't they now?
Yeah, but what if YouTube shits itself? We need to re-upload it at some point.
Yeah.
Don't people keep backups of videos?
I guess if you're making money from them, you need to get them. Yeah, but
Hey, at some point, Graham. Bam! Making it rain.
Yeah, not really sure about that one.
See, this is the best part about doing video now. People can see all the dumb shit I do when we talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Best, worst.
Yeah. Anyway,
one could argue. Games? Get out of town.
Yes, we have.
We're here to talk about that? Shit.
Yep.
Whoa!
So,
something else different.
We have a list of games to go through. So, some of these we have both played. I think the two we've both played are Hard West 2 at the top.
Yep.
And the Chinatown Detective Agency, I think you've played that as a bit of I have as well. But we'll start with those two. But let's start with Hard West 2 because that's one I've been actually playing a lot of recently.
How many hours are you in?
I think when I checked earlier, I was on about 7, I think.
Okay. No, 5.6.
5.6, you are correct, yes.
5.6 for you, and I've got 15.4.
And I've played... Obviously, we're at different points because obviously you've been playing for more of it, obviously. But I think I'm still on this first map, I think is the way you described it in one of our sort of test things we did a couple of days ago. Yes. I didn't know there was a more map, so I'm just playing the game. So, so this game I wasn't really familiar with what type of game it was, because there's a couple of sort of what's the word, horror-based Western games out there.
I was literally just going to say there's been a few West games this year. There's literally 4. Like, if we were doing Game of the Year as we have normally done in the past, one of the categories I was going to go for was Best West Game. And in the video I did for Heartbeat, I've actually got a checkout of Hard West 2 on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, you put that out.
Not even knowing, I knew you had it on your wish list, but I didn't know you'd got it.
Yeah, so, I bought it in the winter/summer sale.
The Steam sale.
The Steam sale that's still long.
I only got 2 games out of that. One I haven't played yet. One's on this list.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I've no, third. No, both the other games are 3. 3 games. One's an early access. I haven't touched it. The other 2 are on here.
Yep.
But yeah, I knew what Hard West 2 was because I think I saw the review for it on PC Gamer and things like that.
Okay. Yep.
And like once I saw what it was, I'm like, yeah, we're in. So there's, like I said, there's been 4 West games this year: Hard West 2, Evil West, Weird West, and Horizon Forbidden West. Now, the only one of those I haven't played is Evil West.
Because the Weird West is the roguelike game, isn't it? Is that
one? No, Weird West is the cowboy immersive sim that was multiple chapters.
Okay, so what am I thinking of?
That one I had break on me bad.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I had a wicked progression issue. I can't progress the game because I've one of the characters I meant to turn a quest into, it's the main story quest, not even there.
Okay.
So that's fun. So I ended up not being able to play that anymore. Evil West is the sort of third-person action game.
Yeah, there's another...
where the cowboy man does Superman punches.
There's a rogue game that's got a thought had West in it. Let me see if I can... It was on Game Pass. I thought it had West in the name, but maybe it didn't.
Weird West is on Game Pass.
But that was a roguelike game, wasn't it?
No.
Run-based? What am I thinking?
I mean, there's possibly elements of West to it. Sorry, roguelike to it, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a...
The game I'm thinking of is definitely a run-based game, where you die and then you go back and essentially start it and redo it again. Not redo it again. What the hell was that? I think it was had West in the name. It's entirely possible it didn't, and I'm just completely off the friggin' off the nano here.
I'm trying to just look for 2022 games West. Names West, and it's just not working. My understanding is it's those four. And I think Weird West might have possibly maybe some roguelike trappings, maybe. But it's much more of an immersive sim.
Yeah, this is going to drive me.
Or, here's how we do this. Steam West. Oh, West of Loathing.
I don't think that's it either.
Oh, there's also Blood West. I keep forgetting about that. So, looking up West on Steam. Oh, fuck. What have I done? Alright, that didn't work. Let's go back to relevance. There's Evil West, Weird West, West Hunt, which is like sort of party social deduction game. A game coming... Ooh, that looks kind of nice. Wild West Dynasty, which has tags of building, choose your own adventure, and crafting. Hard West 2, Blood West, which is in early access, and it's a first-person Western immersive sim. There's DLC for Escape Simulator called Wild West DLC. I think that's...
No, this is...
Wild Wet West, which has sexual content and nudity in it.
No. Well, not that I played of it.
Yeah, I know, right?
What is this game? I might have to turn my Xbox on to get this off. Because I played on my Xbox. I'm actually going to do that, so I'll just be from shot. I'm back in a moment.
Or is it West of Dead?
That might be it.
West of Dead, I think, does have roguelike stuff in it.
That sounds about right. And I think it had Ron Perlman as the voice actor of the main character. Yes.
It was West of Dead, but it came out in 2020.
Ah, did it?
Hey,
okay.
It's still it may have hit. It may have. I can't remember if it hit Game. No, it hit Game Pass on launch.
Okay.
It did get an addition, an add-on.
Maybe that
came out in 2020.
Okay. At least we saw that out. That's good.
We at least all right. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So of the West games that came out this year,
back to the original premise. Back to the West games.
I think Hard West 2 is the best of those four.
I have to agree. And
have you finished Horizon yet?
I was going to ask, how much have you played of that? You probably have finished it, I'm guessing.
Horizon?
Yeah.
I finished it, remember?
I don't know.
Yeah, good point. I put like between 90 and 100 hours into it. It's done.
Okay, so I have not finished it, so I can't 100% comment on it. But I think
I haven't played Evil West, but I still think Hard West 2 is better than based on what I've seen.
Evil West, I think I might put them on wish list when that comes. That looks really actually kind of neat. It's a very similar kind of game to this, isn't it? In a way.
No.
To Hard West 2? So it's not turn-based?
Evil West is literally just like kind of Wild West Gears of War, more melee focused.
It's not the footage I saw looked like it was like top down kind of thing.
That might be Weird West.
Maybe it is.
Weird West has the top down.
Maybe that's something. That looks really good. If that's what I'm looking at.
You played the first chapter of that.
Did I?
Yep. Earlier this year.
I must have done a demo. Oh, okay. I remember that one now. Yeah. I did like that one. That's one that you got.
That's the one I had the game-breaking bug in.
That's that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think I got through the first 2 chapters and was on to the 3rd.
When did I play that?
I think you played that like May or June.
Yeah, so I played that a long time ago. It can't have been released in August, so it can't have been that long ago when I played it.
Really?
Did I play that on... I played the demo of it, that's why I got the demo of it.
No, it came out in March.
Well, according to Steam, it says August 5th, 2022. Was it on
I think
Epic
you're
before?
looking at Evil West.
Oh, look at Hard West. Bloody hell. Do a search for something, and
Fucking, we're on fire. Welcome back.
We're back. Yeah, okay.
In case it wasn't obvious, we back up in this bitch.
Yeah, we're
back up in this bitch. Like, whoa.
We'll get there. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go back to Hard West.
I should probably just before we go any further, remember how I sung Daryl Braithwaite's Horses to start the episode? We made no reference as to why I did that outside of me just being weird.
Well, yeah. Why would we mention it? Just passing your course for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I've actually done that before too.
I'm sure you've done it.
Moving
on. Yeah, so Hard West 2. Let's get to it. So Hard West 2. So I thought this was when... Yeah, so going back to the confusion about all the West games out there, I thought this was the first-person, third-person, first-person shooter game that I thought this was. Hence why I wasn't really interested in playing it. But when I saw it on somewhere, it might have been on... I don't know where I saw it now, but I saw it on something, and I thought, oh, that's not what I thought it was. That looks really cool. Put it on my Steam wish list, and then in the Steam sale it came up for sale, so I bought it. So this is sort of like it's
closer to Mutant Year Zero than it is XCOM.
I was going to say exactly. I was trying to think of the name of that game. That's Mutant Year Zero. So you've got an open world map of sorts that you can move around a bit. You haven't got much control over like how your characters sort of navigate. They just click and they move kind of a thing. But when you get into combat scenarios, you're now in a sort of XCOM style mission sort of thing where you've got 4 or 5 characters and you're rotating through them. They can move a certain number of spots. You've got action points that allow them to move and shoot or whatever. So it's got a lot of those sort of standard things in it. But there are 2 things in it when you get into combat that I think are really, really good. And the first one is this bravado, I think it's called. Is it bravado? Yeah. So if one of your characters kills an enemy, they get bravado and they get all the action points back again.
Yep.
So basically it means that if you can technically string 3 or 4, 5 or 6, depending on your enemies in front of you, kills together because you just go kill, bravado, and just work through it. It's a really, really cool system. It means that if you think you're going to get stuck, oh shit, I'm surrounded, you can not be surrounded within one turn because you just go bang, bang, bang and take out 3 or 4 enemies in one go, and then basically starts to even out the battlefield because there are a lot of battles that are really unevenly matched in terms of numbers. There's 3 or 4 of you, there's 8 or 9 of them. You think, oh shit, that's a bit hard, but if you get the right sequence, you can.
Particularly when you get given the side objective to kill them all in one turn, or for example, take over a train in one turn.
Yeah, so
which I ended up doing. I ended up getting that done.
Oh, you got it. Oh, cool. So
I ended up having to look it up, but yeah.
So each mission has a main objective, as you would expect, plus objectives like everybody's got to survive, or certain characters have got to survive, that kind of stuff. But it also
pick up this whiskey.
Yeah, or it also has side objectives, which will be go and pick this up, go collect this, and the rewards from that are cards. And there's the other mechanic of this game that's really, really neat. There are, was it 10 Jack?
9, 10 Jack, Queen, King, Ace.
Yeah, and I think there might even be Joker in there as well. I've seen a couple of Jokers in the thing. And
I know one of the ultimate abilities for each of the characters needs a 5 of a kind at a bare minimum. How the fucking hell do you get to that?
I guess you got to play a lot of it, so you get a lot of the cards. So at the end of this, so you got this card system. It's not a deck per se. You're playing it during the mission.
No, it's not Midnight Suns.
Yeah, so it's not that, and it's also not a deck building game. So basically, you're using these cards to give your characters extra abilities. And so, for example, one of the characters might have in fact, I think one of the characters, Gene Carter,
busting off with both his guns.
Yeah, that's an ability that you have to have 2 of any kind to be able to activate that ability. So you put 2 9s into. If you've got 2 9s, you put that in, and that ability becomes available. You don't have to then equip it. You've just got it. It's just there.
Yeah. So each of the suits, I didn't really realize this. Each of the suits actually has specific like buffs attached to them.
Yeah, so they do as well. So if you drag up a 9, that might add 3 to your hit points or something like that. Or
it's hit points, bullseye chance, speed, which is the number of spaces you can move in an action point.
Yep. And luck. Is it the other one? Luck.
Luck. I think I said luck.
I did say hit points.
Oh, bullseye. I can't remember.
Yeah, so there's obviously hit points, which is how much health you've got. Luck's another mechanic that got in it too. So if you miss a shot or someone, how does it work again? If you miss a shot, you get luck goes up a bit.
Yes, your luck goes up, so you can actually make it
shot. Which this is just another mechanic they've introduced to sort of balance out the random nature of, the fact that you can miss some shots. If you do miss a shot that you should just get because you're right next to them, your luck will go up.
Diamonds are luck.
Yep.
So diamonds are luck, which is your ability to actually hit a shot. Clubs is speed, hearts is health, spades is bullseye chance, so your ability to crit.
Yep.
And man, is it super satisfying when you crit?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, this game is really good. I mean, it is probably my game of the year so far, and I've only played it for 6 hours or whatever. So,
there's also the joke to be made where it's like, really, Satisfactory is your game of the year.
No, it's not going to count as my game of the year until it's actually out. So
okay,
it'll be the one that if I ever have a top 10 list, it'll be the one that's brought to you by game.
It is fucking good.
It is really good. So there are pretty much full voice acting. So a lot of the story is sort of delivered by not cutscenes per se, but like
dialogue choices. It's almost like Disco Elysium, like dialogue choice.
Yeah, so
there are full screen cutscenes that are animated, but for me, they don't have voice acting, which I don't know if that's because they're broken for me or if it's.
They do. Well, they should do.
Okay, so it's broken for me.
Depends on what you're talking about. So if you have, you're talking about the ones they fly through.
Full screen animated.
When they fly through the missions at the beginning of each mission, and
no,
we got it. No, you're not. So they're voice acted for you.
Yeah, everything's voice acted except for these very big full screen, sort of very cartoony comic book style animated, which is not the same as the mission fly throughs.
I don't think they are voice acted. I think they're just.
That's good to know. I wasn't sure if that was broken for me or not.
But yeah, it's really, really good. It's got those couple of mechanics that I think just make it unique enough from a standard XCOM, Gears Tactics, whatever you want to sort of, use. That just makes it really, really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying the characters. I think the story is really well delivered. The dialogue's really good. It's just really, really good.
It's really, really enjoyable.
It's really, really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
There's only one. The biggest downside for me for Hard West 2 is literally those side objectives where it's like complete this in one turn, and you have to be very specifically built and do it in very specific order.
Yeah, so there are some side objectives that I look at and go,
like the train one I told you about.
Yeah, the other one I had last night was kill. Yeah.
I'll kill all these fuckers in one turn and something like that.
No, it wasn't that. It was actually get 8 kills using your character's special abilities.
Oh, see, I just cheese that.
So if you get it right, you can probably use Jin's ability because he's got a thing where you can just shoot through in a sort of a row.
Jin's and Old Man Bill's is good for that.
Oh, that what's it called?
Where he sort of just goes rah, and a bunch of like magic bullets come out and hit it, like have a chance of hitting someone.
Yeah, so. If you
Flynn's
get it
ability
right,
is pretty good for that too.
What's that?
Flynn's ability, if you get him down to 1 hit point, you switch and it does 1 hit point of damage.
Yeah, so
Laughing Deers can be pretty good.
There's one mission yesterday where the side option was to do that and kill an enemy using that particular ability. So some that are more than achievable than others, but there was just some you just go, nah, I'm not even going to bother trying to get it. I'm just not going to bother. But the ones where you get cards for rewards, that's where I'd probably want to try and actually get those objects because the cards are.
That's why I looked up how to do the train takeover in 1 turn.
Okay.
Because it had a card behind it.
Yeah, most of the other mission sort of rewards are just money based.
Yeah.
So.
And also doing that train in 1 turn makes that mission way easier.
I'm sure it would.
Because trying to take out all the dudes that come up on you methodically ends up being a lot harder to actually do than just chuck all these speed things on Jin,
Yeah.
bust off one shot. You just have to rely a bit on luck to actually hit the dudes, and then yeah, you do it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, thanks, peace out.
Yeah. So yeah, hardware tool, really good. Thoroughly recommend it to people who like that kind of. If you don't like it, you're probably not going to get much into it. But this game has a.
I think it's a good starting point for that sort of thing too, because the difficulty options. My understanding is the difficulty options make it easier to get into that sort of game than an XCOM and maybe even a Mutant Gear Zero, because they did a patch, because it was just, I think, story and hard. So I'm playing through on hard.
Okay. Yep. I think I'm.
And there's easy and nightmare.
Yeah. So I think I'm playing on easy. I think. I can't remember what I'm playing on, but I'm playing on one of the.
I'm playing it through on the default, which is hard.
Yeah.
And it's actually not that hard. Sometimes you will get fucked, particularly when you come up against a Wendigo.
Yeah, but I think the thing that makes the levels that playing field is that bravado system is really fucking good, and that card system is good to be able to level up your characters without having to sort of earn XP and that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
There's literally no XP you're earning.
There's no leveling up at all. Like you're just playing the game.
With the exception of those cards, no, there's not.
Yeah, it's just a really good balancing system between everything. So, yeah, it's really cool. I'm going to whip through the rest of my games pretty quickly. The Wandering Village, that's on early access at the moment. That's a city builder game where you actually play your playing field, for want of a better term. It's on the back of a big, giant, friggin' moving turtle animal kind of thing that's sort of wandering through the environment.
I've got that on my wish list.
It's really good. It's in early access. I probably won't get back to it for a little while to see what... I haven't looked up or found a... sort of a roadmap at the moment to see what they're planning to do with that going forward. But it's got some really good things. So you'll be wandering through the environment, and depending where your creature walks, you'll either be in the middle of a sort of a heat wave or a desert or a forest area, and that all changes how your environment actually behaves in terms of things like how your crops grow and how they do and don't grow, how much water you can generate and that kind of stuff. Being that you're on
testing controller support
on the back of a this creature, he's kind of feeding the environment, so things grow back because of him. So if you chop down a tree, it will eventually grow back again. If you mine some rocks, they'll eventually come back again, kind of thing. So you sort of have a regular supply of materials around the environment to pick up and mine, but you still got to build things to make use of all that stuff. So it's a really neat little game. And the creature you're on the back of is Onbu. Onbu is how it's spelt. I think it's pronounced Onbu. And you can control him. You can sort of tell him where to go sometimes. And if he doesn't trust you, he'll just ignore what you're asking him to do. And
that's fucking cool.
It's really kind of good. It's a couple of neat little systems. As I said, it's still in access. So
it came out in September. They're planning to be in early access for 1 year or longer.
Mm-hmm.
Normally with stuff like this, early access stuff like this, they tend not to have a roadmap until they're about halfway. Oh no, there was one on September 17th. As far as a roadmap and stretch goals.
Okay, I'll look at that at some point.
Some new biomes, a stretch goal to pet Onbu, which has been unlocked. There's a bunch of stuff.
This game must have sounded like it was kickstarted by the sounds of it. Then was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But
I think maybe the stretch goals is maybe based on how many copies they've sold.
Oh, just in early access. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
But they're planning controller support. It's confirmed controller support, Steam Deck, Xbox. They want to do more story. There's a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah, it's a neat little game. I'm definitely going to go back to it at some point. To sort of playing on a Xbox controller would be fine. The world you're working on is not particularly big. You can't rotate the camera in the PC game, so it's not as if you'd have that to worry about. So controllers could migrate to a console relatively easy, I would have thought. So, or a controller at least.
They're currently testing controller support, so that might hit the version, lack of a better term, the early access version fairly soon.
Yep. My other games are Bear and Breakfast. So Bear and Breakfast is a RPG, I guess, where you're
Isn't there some
basically
management sim stuff in there too?
managing stuff too. So it's a bit of everything. Quest stuff. So basically, you control a little band. I've actually forgotten his name. Yeah, can't remember his name is. And you basically come across. How do I even describe it? Horace. No, that's not his name. I think Horace, is that his name?
Hank.
Hank. Hank. You had H in it. Hank. So yeah. So you
A
basically
laid-back management adventure game.
Yeah. So you're basically controlling Hank, and what you do with Hank is you walk around different parts of the environment, and then you sort of take over buildings in a way. You don't take over, it's not the right term either, but you essentially take over buildings and turn them into bed and breakfast. Is where the sort of name plays on, plays on that name. So you're building rooms, you're putting beds in the room, and you're making bathrooms in the building and stuff like that. And you essentially run little mini bed and breakfast places across this pretty big environment.
I'm getting a sort of Dragon Quest Builders vibe off of this.
Sort of. It's not quite that level of construction. Like you basically say.
Yeah. Not that level of scope or anything like that.
Yeah, but it's a similar sort of concept. And like if you might have. So the very first building I come across is it's like a 10 by 10 kind of square building, if that makes sense, or the grid. And you basically just drag and drop. I want to build a room that is 3 by 3 squares. And the buildings you've got to build you've got to have certain criteria. Mostly, like for example, a bedroom needs to be at least 2 by 3 to be classified as a bedroom, sort of thing. And once you do that, you put a bed in it and make a door on it. You've then got a bedroom, basically. You can make it bigger, make it whatever, but that's the sort of the basics of it. And that's what you sort of repeating that throughout different parts of the environment. Where the further you go through it, you can now make more things. You can now So I think the idea is to bring humans slash tourists back to this environment where the bears are. Not too sure why the bears don't just attack the tourists, but anyway.
It's like Yogi Bear.
Yeah, must be. And there's things like like other creatures you can buy stuff from and buy blueprints from. So it's a pretty involved thing. I think the thing that's a bit at the moment is that it's a bit grindy because it is.
Yeah, there's
a bit once you've built one building, you then got to repeat that same process elsewhere. So all you can really do from one building to the next is just make the rooms a bit more fancier, and that's what part of what you're trying to do is make the rooms and the building more attractable. So you bring in more higher level of tourists to make more money, sort of thing. So that's really the progression, and I think it's probably
I think
it's going to get a bit grindy, a bit samey overall, and I think that's probably going to be the thing that'll probably sort of push me away from sort of kind of great finishing it, whatever that looks like. Because there's a story
Rock,
there.
Paper, Shotgun's review is basically that.
Okay.
Is that it doesn't really encourage creativity the same way. Like it's a little bit restrictive creatively.
Yeah, it would be because you've only got certain things you can put into each room, sort of thing, to make it what it is. And there was a really weird, sort of a weird pseudo bug I had when I was playing it on, because I was playing it on PC, on my big PC with a controller. And in that first build I was talking about, where you had to build a 2 by 3, little room, I couldn't with the controller drag it. I could only drag down one line, and that's all I could do. When I eventually put the game into full screen mode, I could drag around properly. It was really weird.
I've been having an issue.
So yeah, kind of weird things like that. But
I had a map issue with a game called Soldiers, where because it's like a Metroidvania, you need to move a cursor around the map.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can't move up or to the right.
Oh, okay.
Which is a super weird bug.
Yeah. Okay.
And I haven't gone back to it for that reason.
I'll finish up with. So My Time in Sandrock, or at Sandrock, is basically the current early access sequel to My Time at Porsche, which I played a lot of probably 4 or 5 years ago now, I'd like to think.
I think that was not last year, year before. You played a bunch of that.
Yeah, it was a couple of years back now anyway.
That was a pandemic game for you.
Was it?
Rough? Kind of.
I think it was before that. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I can't remember.
Yeah, this is the sequel. It's in early access. I put in probably 4 or 5 hours so far. It's really good. They've got some different mechanics in there that are making it a bit different from last time. But yeah, early stages, I'm enjoying it, so it's all good.
Are you going to keep playing it, or because of the early access part, are you going to sort of go, all right,
that
cool,
game's been out
bounce
in
and
early
wait?
access for probably 4 or 5 months now, I think. I think it was sort of
May.
okay, so it's been out for 5 or 6 months. I decided to buy it now, A, because it was on special, on sale during the sale. And I concluded that it's been out for 6 months or so I'm making the assumption that there's a decent amount of content in there I'm going to be able to play for a fair bit before I quote run out of what's in there before they go to version 1 or whatever it is. So I'll probably play it for a little bit. Not sure I'm going to quote unquote finish it, but yeah, I'll keep playing with a fair bit of it because it's all voice acted now, which is the other thing they've done, which is actually quite impressive. The voice acting's quite broad in it too. My last game is before we get to the other one we've both played, is Hazel Sky. This is a very simplistic sort of puzzle game. Yeah, proper puzzle game / story game.
This was one of your main highlights coming out of Key 3.
Yeah, and
well, one of your biggest interest points / curiosities.
And I played it. Took me 5 hours to finish it, which is way less than I thought it was going to be. It's interesting. It's got some very basic puzzles that are in it. So you play as a character whose name I've also forgotten about, and you're doing some sort of
Shane.
That sounds right, Shane. Sort of setting up as a sort of this engineering trial where you're doing engineering quote unquote stuff, and that stuff basically means fixing things that are in these particular environments. So the first one has you basically fixing a plane or kind of a glider more than anything. So you've got to find some cloth material to fix the wings that have been broken. You've got to find some wood to fix the sort of break and fuselage section. And you've got to find some coal to power it up. And that's essentially what the puzzles are going forward. They get a bit more elaborate than that, but they're not really elaborate. Like they're more about the process of finding the materials to make to fix them is where the main time is spent. What it does have is a sort of a fairly good story, very similar to Firewatch. Remember in Firewatch you had your character plus the character in the Firewatch tower? It's got that as well. So
I was looking at the description on the Steam page. It has that sort of I guess more mechanically involved Firewatch vibe to it.
Yeah, so it's sort of similar thing. You've got these basic puzzles, but more mechanics. You've got to do things to make things. But you've got this dialogue sort of story-driven thing sort of between two characters. One of which I think you like with Firewatch, you meet at the very end of the game kind of thing. But it's sort of, yeah. So I enjoyed what I played of it. Enjoyed it. I would have liked it being longer. Visually it looked really good. Sound-wise looks really good. It's a lot of good things for it, but yeah.
Hang on. Sound-wise it looks really good.
Sorry, and it looks really good. Sorry, I never have been able to speak very well. And yeah, so yeah, if it was been longer, I would have rated it more. And if the puzzle's been a little bit harder, even better again. But yeah, I did enjoy it for what it was. The last one that we both played together is China Detective Agency. Now you mentioned before we started, or maybe just after we started recording, I remember, that you bounced off it pretty quick.
I bounced off this pretty hard. But I don't know if it was because, I was a bit tired because, like I said, I have fucked up my sleep schedule, something fierce. I got through to the point where you go to the library, you figure out where to go, it took some real focus for me to figure that out, going through the numbers, matching the numbers to the letters on the page and all that sort of stuff. And then went to the place to get that guy, back to the librarian, and I'm kind of like, I'm done. It's moving too slowly for me at this point. I'm not feeling it. It had a real Ghost in the Shell vibe.
Yeah,
I tweeted that, and then I got like retweeted and liked by like main designers on the game. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even at them. I just said, man, Chinatown Detective Agency, mad Ghost in the Shell vibes. I was like, ooh. Like, I can see an interesting concept there, but I just bounced off it because it just wasn't grabbing me. And was that a function of maybe me trying to play it, maybe tired or maybe not, for lack of a better term, in the best of headspaces, perhaps? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
this just so everyone know, this is essentially a point and click adventure in a way, I guess.
That's the closest thing I would describe it as.
Closest thing to it. It's got a bit more to it than that, but that's essentially what it is. If I recall, it's sort of pixel art. Yeah, pixel art.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of the main gameplay mechanics is looking up things on Google or looking up things on the internet.
Using the internet to help you with your clues and stuff, which
that's a great idea.
Great idea, yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
I enjoyed it for what I played. I will go back to it. I played it on Xbox. I don't know how far I got to it. Sounds like you might have got a bit further than me, but so that's all the games that I've played that you and I have both played. So your list, starting with Rogue Legacy 2.
Fucking Rogue Legacy 2, man, is so good. It's so good, and I keep coming back to it. I currently have 147.2 hours. And like Rogue Legacy 1, when you go through, you kill off all the bosses, you kill the big bad, you re-loop. But because of the additions and the different modifiers and mutators or things they have in the actual game, you can add variations of enemies to each of the biomes, and you put in like prime versions of each boss.
Okay.
And you only get one of those for each New Game Plus. So to actually go through and do most of and get the true ending is going through, killing all those prime bosses and all that sort of stuff. So at bare minimum, I want to kill all of the prime bosses off, which I've got one biome prime boss left, and then I think the main boss is a prime.
Okay.
So I'm on New Game Plus 6.
So does that mean you've actually completed the story 5 times?
5 times.
Okay. And each ending's different? Or each ending's different?
No, the ending's the same each time.
Okay.
It's literally just the gameplay loop.
Okay, gotcha.
But like for me, for the most part, a run in that is between 45 minutes and an hour long.
Okay, so it's not. It's not.
So like when I first start each new loop off, most of the time the runs are between 10 and 20 because obviously the enemies are higher level. I'm getting killed more easily and things like that. But the more I level up, is the concept of, okay, I'm getting stronger now, so I'm just hitting all of the biomes, clearing out getting as much gold as I can.
Yep.
Then go through that biome I need to do next, kill that boss, and then keep progressing.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Because when you kill the prime versions, or when you kill each boss and things like that, there's like a trial, like different combat trials or different trials that come up as well.
Yeah, yep.
So once you kill a certain enemy, it gives you the clue for how to find it. And I'm too fucking stupid or can't be bothered trying to figure it out. So I just look up where it is, do it, and then because the bigger challenge is actually killing some of those bosses because some of those fights are fucked. So I've been it's basically just doing that. And you get sort of soul stones from certain things, mainly from the challenges, and if you eventually max your friendship with the different people at the castle / pier you start at, then you get more of them, so you can get each of the abilities you can buy in the castle to level up more.
Okay. So that's the between run mechanic is that castle stuff. Okay, yep.
And like I'm playing this more than I played Rogue Legacy 1. And I played through Rogue Legacy 1 a bunch of times. Because each of the different classes have different weapons, different abilities, different characteristics, whereas in Rogue Legacy 1, it was literally stat differences and maybe spells.
Well, it sounds like the actual games are a little bit different from each other, because Rogue Legacy was a true run-based thing, wasn't it?
No, this was the same thing. There weren't the prime bosses. I
don't recall Rogue Legacy having a New Game Plus in it.
No, there was a bunch of New Game Plus stuff in Rogue Legacy.
Fair enough. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because I ended up getting to like New Game Plus 4 or 5 on Rogue Legacy 1 at least one platform.
Okay, yep.
So, yeah. Rogue Legacy 2 is really, really good. It's going to be It's going to be on my. It will be on an end of year list. However, we decide to do that, which we're still figuring that out in some way, shape, or form. We've got most of the figured out parts, but yeah.
Yep.
So the the main two things I have played so far on this 4090 are Rogue Legacy 2 and Marvel Snap. Because I'm a fucking idiot.
Probably getting 500 frames a second on Marvel Snap, aren't you?
No, because it's only set to 60 frames a second, and I don't think it runs faster than that. But it's just like both of those games, because Marvel Snap, I just do the missions that come up, and they might be play a certain power card X number of times, win a location with 4 cards, win with 1, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, sort of.
So I'll have
challenge-based stuff rather than a
yeah. Yep. So you can just keep playing once you've done those missions. But the main progression through the power level, through the battle pass, and to get currency to upgrade your cards is by doing those missions.
Yep.
Because at the end of each game, yeah, you get like 6 boosters for one specific card. But if you're not doing the missions because you've done them all you're getting is those boosters, but with no currency to actually level your cards up.
Okay. Yep.
So we haven't talked. I got a video of this up on the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
My power level is massively higher than what the video is. It's around 1300 at this point.
So is the power level like Destiny style power level? Your armor plus your this. How does the power level get?
As you level up cards, there's different levels your cards can be. So you get boosters, you get credits.
Mm-hmm.
You need a certain number of boosters to be able to level up your cards.
Yep.
So to go from grey to green is a frame break. So the image on the card breaks through the frame.
Okay.
That's 5 boosters and 25 credits.
Yep.
To go from frame break to 3D, where it looks like the card has depth and things like that, 100 credits, 10 boosters. And then you're doing animated shiny frame, animated logo, and then infinity, which means you can do a second version of that card that has a real fancy background.
And each of the cards, obviously, they just do more damage, essentially, I assume. What's the mechanic?
Not when they level up.
So what's the actual mechanic of each game?
So much like there's an element of supercard to this. There's 3 locations. They randomize each game, right? Each card has energy and a damage or power level.
Yep.
So you have a certain number of energy each turn, and then you have to the cards you play. You have to win either 2 of the 3 locations, or if it ties, you need to have more energy combined than the other player.
Okay. Yep.
Now, some of the cards, like the Silver Surfer card, has 3 energy but 0 damage because it has each of the cards has different abilities, or a lot of the cards have different abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So the Silver Surfer card has 3 energy, 0 power, but its ability is that it can add +3 damage to every 3 energy card that's on the playing field across the 3 locations.
So it's a big, massive buff card, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you play Thor, it'll also then summon Mjolnir. But Mjolnir doesn't go straight into your hand. Mjolnir goes into your deck. So you either have to wait for hope that, luck-wise, Mjolnir comes into your hand, you can then play it. Mjolnir gives Thor 6 power.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Unless you have a character... So the main deck I'm using has one of the characters from Captain Strange... And his is there's ongoing, there's revealing, there's on-reveal abilities, there's destroy abilities, there's discard abilities, and movement abilities. So, on movement, X happens.
Okay, yep.
So, this dude from Doctor Strange, he has an ongoing ability, but all reveal abilities happen twice.
Mm.
So, if I put that dude down and then Mjolnir, I get +6 to Thor twice.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, yep.
And then I've got the female Thor, which is a 5 energy, 8 damage card. when you play that, on reveal, she will automatically summon any 0 power cards to your hand. So you definitely... So that Mjolnir will definitely get called out by her. To your hand.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, the power level goes up as you're leveling up cards.
Okay.
So, I've got 4 different versions of America Cortez.
Okay.
Because I've leveled her up that many times. To put it in perspective, I've got 32.5 hours on the Steam version of Marvel Snap. Plus at least between 3 and maybe 10 hours on the phone version.
Okay.
And it's cross progression too. So like the progression I make on phone goes to the PC version, the PC version goes to the phone version.
Okay, so you can go on one, go the other, and keep going back and forth if you need to. Yep.
It feels and it's a much better, like, we know I played a lot of Supercard because I'm an idiot. But it feels it feels mostly better playing this because any money you spend is either on the season pass, which is every month, or you're not getting new cards.
Oh, okay.
It's only cosmetic stuff.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So I've only spent money on the season pass, and that's about it. I think there was a welcome pack that I bought, and that's about it.
Okay.
But yeah, man, that thing's good. I've played through every expansion and the 2 machine games packs for Quake. And they are, like I said, I've got through to about almost the end of January for kicking it old school with Quake. Machine Games did 2 episodes of it, like I said. The second episode they did is fucking incredible. Because they do really big, elaborate sort of maps that I didn't think the Quake engine was capable of.
Okay.
Like big external castles and things like that.
Okay.
It's actually really surprising because their first episode was kind of shit.
Okay.
But yeah, the second one they did is incredible. So that'll be hitting the YouTube. That'll be the last couple of episodes of that. So I've finished all of that now. I've got I could go through and cheat to do the nightmare achievements in Quake, but I'm not going to because it's just going to take too long. But yeah, man, Quake holds up. Quake's still really good. It's one of those games where it's from 1995, and in some aspects, it plays better than some modern shooters.
Yeah, well, to kind of a proven everything, isn't it? Really, like.
Yeah. The Pinball Wizard is a short little pinball roguelike. There is progression to it in that you're working your way up a tower to try and get this magic gemstone that just happens to look like a pinball to be put back in place to save the world. And you're a little wizard, and as you get hit by flippers, you act like a ball, but the ball, like the little dude runs. Little dude has feet, and as you hit it, he runs around. Okay. And it just looks really funny and really cool. And it's a dope little, just little sort of, for lack of a better term, almost single screen pinball fields. I think I got done with it in 2 or 3 hours.
Okay, yep.
I think I got pretty much all the achievements. But there was another pinball game that came out, Pinball Heroes, I believe. Off the top of my head, that came out towards the end of last year. Very similar in style to that, but I think it's a little bit more contained. And by being that little bit more contained, it's a little bit more intriguing. And yeah, you can be done with it fairly quick. Okay. One of the more negative ones, Project Downfall. I bought this in early access a while ago because I thought it looked dope. It came out in 1.0. There's a great look here. There's some great sort of synth wavy sort of music here. They tried doing Hotline Miami in first person.
Yeah, I think I'm still looking at the screenshot here. Yeah, I can see what appealed to you. I can see that.
Yeah. In appearance it appealed, but then I tried playing it and it does not work because there are times where you can't tell if you've killed the dude or not, and you can just get whacked and die in one hit.
Okay.
So you don't have the spatial awareness, and because of all the graphical effects, which look really, really nice, but you can't 100% tell what's registering as a hit, what's killing someone, and all that sort of stuff, and it just gets sort of repetitive, and it just gets annoying.
Definitely got a style to it, that's for sure. Jesus.
Absolutely, and I love that style. That's part of what made me go for it. It's the same as like a Maximum Action and a few other Turbo Overkill, as well as another one in first-person shooter that's in early access. That looks really cool, but then you play Project Downfall and it's like, nah, this ain't it. So I just deleted that and just moved on. Mortal Kombat 11 was like $13 on the Steam sale, and it's the Mortal Kombat Ultimate, so it has the Aftermath expansion and all of that. I didn't know this, but in 2020, NetherRealm did a movie pack for Mortal Kombat 11, where you can put skins for Christopher Lambert, Bridget Wilson, and Lyndon Ashby on Raiden, Sonya, and Johnny Cage, and it has their voices. So it's fucking amazing. The only thing I need to find out is if you can find a way to replace the actual story versions with those versions, because they redid the skins and they had them do the lines. Because if I don't have to listen to Ronda Rousey during the story in that fucking thing, that would be great. Because, man, she was shit. But it's really fun. Like, because they got Carrie Higawa, whoever plays Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat movie 95. Ari Hiroyuki Tagawa. They literally just brought him in as Shang Tsung for the game, so it's now got three more. They've got three other characters from the film, so all they need is Robin Shu for Liu Kang, and whoever they had be Melina, and done. But I don't think there's a way to actually replace Johnny Cage, Raiden, or Sonya for the story mode with those movie ones, which is what I'd really like to do. But I also did it.
So I thought you played this before. No.
I played through it on PlayStation.
I was trying to think. Yeah, trying to think you'd played it.
Yeah, no, I played through it on PlayStation, but I never played the Aftermath story.
Okay.
I never bought that.
Yep.
And then with a certain game coming out next year, I might do a quote unquote fight night, where I do like fighting game videos once a week or something. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, at some point I'll probably play through the story and that again, because that's like 6 to 8 hours, and then do that Aftermath, and then, I don't know, maybe try and play some MK Online. We'll see how that goes. Shovel Knight Dig is yet another Shovel Knight game. So another spin-off where they did the Puzzle Kingdom, or whatever it was called late last year, as a surprise drop. This is another one, but this is basically, what if Shovel Knight was Dig Dug / SteamWorld Dig as a roguelike?
Okay, yep.
So there's elements where you're digging through, getting jewels, and then running into enemies and having to try and take them out. It's really, really cool. Am I sticking with it, though? Yeah. I've moved it from out of my current backlog into my roguelikes folder. If that's any indication. But it's a super cool idea. And I just like the idea of Yacht Club Games just putting out different games that are just Shovel Knight in different genres.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting. They did the puzzle one last year, which was great in idea, pretty good in execution, way better graphically and auditorily than it was in gameplay wise. But Shovel Knight Dig has that. If you were really satisfied doing the digging in like a SteamWorld Dig, then that's where Shovel Knight Dig comes through and is really interesting. RPG Time, The Legend of Right. I played this for an hour and refunded it.
Okay.
Because it looked like an awesome game. Where there's a game coming out next year, I think, that has that look of you're playing on a children's book. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Vaguely, but yeah, it's alright.
I don't remember what it's called.
So
no, I could go digging.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So, what's your...
Yeah.
This game looks really, visually looks really cool.
It has a fucking awesome look. And an awesome premise.
So,
it's so fucking slow.
Oh, in terms of the movement is slow, you mean?
The gameplay, the movement is so slow.
Okay.
So, and that's where it falls down for me. I bounced off just because of how slow it was.
So describe.
But
describe what you mean by slow. Like what sort of things are you doing in this game? Like it's kind of hard to tell.
So you get put on there'll be a page where it'll be a double page spread in this notebook. Yep. You get put down the bottom, and you have to move your way around to the top to move over to the next page.
Okay.
Just the process to actually go through that to actually get to that next page is just really, really slow.
So your character
character movement
is just moving slow.
Yeah.
Your action, jumping is slow. Whatever you're doing,
yep,
is just slow.
And there'll be times where the just constant, almost tutorializing as the kid who's made the game is telling you what to do and how to do certain things and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's constantly being interrupted, and then you go, oh, no, but then we need to do this little thing so you know how to do this mechanic. And it's like, motherfucker, let me do something.
Yep. Okay.
There's some great ideas here. You hit the right trigger for a help mode, and there's a little ninja that you have to find, like a Where's Wally style.
Okay.
And you can see it when you're not in help mode. There's some great ideas. It looks fucking fantastic, which is why we're so at least I'm interested in the similar game like this that I think Devolver's putting out next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Devolver putting this out. I can't remember. But yeah, this is just so slow that I would just bounced off it because it was just taking so long to progress. And I'm like, I got other things that I want to play. This is just not hitting it. This is not doing it for me. Had it been a bit faster, had it been, for lack of a better term, way less handholdy, or maybe had I been more patient, I don't know. But unfortunately, yeah, I bounced off. Lastly, Forspoken is a game coming out. One of the bigger games of early next year coming out. There was a demo released during the old Game Awards, Keeley's Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
December Keeley's. So I gave that a crack. I flipped between performance and quote-unquote quality modes. The performance mode, number one, you don't seem to lose much in the graphical department, outside of maybe some ray tracing and stuff like that, which I didn't notice, but man, it moves super quick.
What are your platform? Sounds like a PlayStation. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't on Xbox, it wasn't on PC. So it is coming out on those platforms, but for some weird reason, the demo was only on PlayStation. You've got you're this girl from New York who got teleported to this faraway land. You're wearing these bracelets that basically talk to you, but also form your weaponry and stuff like that. They didn't dig into the main story too much, but just the main traversal, the combat. There is some puzzle-solving elements to it. I really enjoyed what I played. Is it going to be world-breaking? No. There was some talk about people getting annoyed with the verbosity of the bracelets. But people had that problem with God of War, with Horizon. There was one other thing that came out around the same time that was talking a lot as well. But just them running around this nice sort of cool fantasy open world, doing sort of side quests that popped up and things like that, just reminds me that I really like those kind of open world games where it just has shit all over the place. Horizon. I really liked Horizon. I have problems with it, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
Forspoken is sort of Horizon-like in that way. But yeah, there are other games I played, but we're going to talk way more about them come Game of the Year. Because I'm still progressing through stuff. Hey, yo. Beginning of the end?
Yep.
Are we still going to call it beginning of the end, or? As it turns out, we are still calling it beginning of the end, which I didn't think of. I didn't think to ask that question until you started playing the music, which is really smart of me. So you don't know if we got any emails in the time off.
No.
So we'll look at that maybe another time. But shall we look at maybe a quick look at some of what's coming next year?
We should do that.
Because there were quite a few things. There were quite a few things that have been delayed from this year to next. I mean, you look at... Just go up a little bit for a sec.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go through this whole list, but you look at that part where it says series with new entries, and fucking look at some of that shit. The Bayonetta game, I barely count, but like, I'd be really interested in what this new Bomberman is, just quietly.
Yeah.
But like, there's a new Remnant. It's been confirmed. Remnant 2. Remnant 2, Graham. Anyway, so relatively quiet-ish, but like January picks up and gets started. There's a couple of cool little indie games in here, but I don't like One Piece Odyssey. Neither of us are interested in because it's such an anime-focused thing. But the new Fire Emblem game, the new mainline Fire Emblem game, comes out on the 20th of January. Fire Emblem Engage, Summertime Rendering. That's a pretty good name. But Forspoken, the aforementioned Forspoken, coming out on the 24th of January.
Mm-hmm.
It's not coming out on Xbox.
No,
well, hey, there's another bloody...
Yeah, see early conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, that sort of fits in what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
There is a Wonder Boy Anniversary Collection coming out that puts a bunch of Wonder Boy games together, which, like, yeah, that might be kind of cool. The Dead Space remake on the 27th is one I'm super looking forward to, particularly after the Callisto Protocol kind of shit the bed.
Yep.
Which we never ended up talking about that, but the Callisto Protocol apparently shit the bed pretty hard.
Yep.
By making it mainly melee focused and just, they fucked a few things on that. You've got your mouse over the main thing you're looking forward to for January, which is Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition.
Specifically, the fact that it's coming to the console.
Xbox. Yes.
So I'm intrigued.
I'd be very curious how that works.
That's mainly the reason I've played it on PC, so I know what the game is. Yeah. I'm curious how they're going to map that to a controller, because that's that's a fairly complicated, or can be a complicated sort of control scheme for that one. So I'd be curious how they map it to a controller. Other games have done it in the past successfully, so it's not exactly impossible, but yeah, intriguing how they will actually do that one ultimately.
Absolutely. Deliver Us Mars, which I know is you played Deliver Us the Moon, didn't you?
Yeah, I played a bit of that. It's a sort of a first person sort of adventure
kind of walking
game.
Simulator
walking
almost
kind of
sort of vibe.
Yeah, so looking forward to that one.
I think I played the demo of Clash Artifacts of Chaos in the Steam Demo Fest video I did.
Okay.
It was fine. It was just really fucking weird. Hogwarts Legacy comes out on February 10th. Fuck J.K. Rowling.
That's probably the most divisive. I don't know if the game's divisive, but clearly
its release is very much divisive.
Releases, so that's...
Because J.K. Rowling is
I'm going to curious how what that game actually is ultimately, but obviously the lineage of that property is a big thing at the moment. So
yeah, J.K. Rowling is kind of really fucking her legacy right into the dirt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What else on there?
Wild Hearts coming out on the 17th of February is a sort of feudal Japanese version of Monster Hunter.
That's kind of really trying to go.
Where,
like saying that's one of their little side product ones, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how little that's actually going to be. It is on the EA Originals.
Yeah, so that's what I was sort of saying. That label platform is sort of coming under it. Interesting.
The EA Original stuff does suggest a sort of size or scope. But yeah, basically Monster Hunter in feudal Japan.
Interesting.
So, who knows? Atomic Heart, February 21st. I'm so looking forward to this. The videos I've been seeing, they did another trailer during the December Keeleys. It's still looking fucking awesome. I just really hope it comes out well. Because who can say?
Mm-hmm.
Like a Dragon Ishin is
next,
Yakuza
game. Is that the sequel to something or a new one?
It's a re-release.
Re-release of one. Okay, fair enough. Yep.
Yeah, re-release or remake like they did with the a lot of the Yakuza games up to that point. But the Ishin part, I think, has taken the characters of like Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, and putting it in like old Japan.
Okay.
So it could be really cool. Fucking Yakuza games are so big, but like meant to be so good. Fuck's sake.
You play one of them and you can get into it, but to get into the full series now, you're like 8 games behind. I think it's the only
I would say Yakuza 0, Yakuza 7. That's it.
Yeah, that's still two.
I played like 20 hours of Yakuza 0.
That's still 2 70, 80-hour games, so it's not as if it's still.
Yeah.
So it's still not exactly that small, thing to get into either. So that's what I'm saying.
No, it's not.
It's kind of like it's passed me by kind of thing now.
Oh yeah. I forgot the new Settlers game was coming out in February. Who cares?
So yeah, that's the sequel. Well, not the sequel. That's the expansion to Horizon Forbidden West.
No, that's the VR one.
Is it the VR one? Is it?
I believe that's the VR one.
Is that the VR one?
As a launch title, yeah.
So it is.
Persevere 2.
Okay.
Because the expansion was announced during December Keeley's, but that was announced for, I want to say May.
Fair enough. Okay.
They're going back to Cali. Moving on. Company of Heroes 3 was delayed into this window of the 23rd of February. 2 very different campaigns in that thing, and it sounds awesome. One's a bit more straightforward, and you're playing as, I think, the Germans in Italy or Africa. As you're playing as the Africa Corps in Africa.
Yep.
But then there's a non-linear one where you're playing in Italy, I think.
Okay.
So there's some really great, interesting ideas there that I'm looking forward to, and that's a few days before my birthday. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe on the Switch. I just hope that that's not like a full-price Nintendo game like a lot of those re-release things are. Because, man, that'd be cool. Darkest Dungeon 2 is apparently getting a full release in February at some point. What the fuck? Because I've got that in early access on Epic. I just haven't played it because I tend not to play early access games. Last of Us Part 1 on PC in early March. Do you have any interest in that?
Nah.
Yeah.
That's for me a game you play once.
Yeah. But if it gets cheap enough just to see it running on that Last of Us 2 engine, maybe.
Maybe if it gets cheap enough on a sale, run it to see what it looks and plays like on PC, maybe. But that'd be the only reason to do it, and that's a pretty weak reason ultimately. So.
Oh yeah. Particularly when you look at their stuff before and after that are like, goddamn. That next game, if we do a best game name next year, not Wo Long. Wo Long Fallen Dynasty I'm super looking forward to because that's the next Team Ninja. Basically, that's Chinese Neo. Whereas Neo is set in old school Japan, that's going to be set in China.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that comes out fucking good because the 2 Neo games have been great. That Void Terranium 2, what a great name that is. Skull and Bones, is it going to come out on the 9th of March? Who the fuck knows?
Who knows?
Because that was like, it's definitely coming out this year, otherwise Singapore government's going to sue them. Whoops, It's been delayed.
I'm super intrigued with what that game is actually going to be. I'm really intrigued with it because it's based on it would seem, based on the boat traversal stuff from Black Flag, which I really, really liked. So a whole full game around that sounds good to me, but I have no idea.
Get to be boat boys.
Who knows what it's actually going to be ultimately? But intrigued for sure.
Is it fair to call that this console generation's Duke Nukem forever?
No, because it's only been couple of years, not 10 like that was, so no.
Oh, I forgot. This thing's coming out on Amazon Luna. What the fuck? The 17th. Jedi Survivor. I got Jedi Fallen Order for like $6 on Steam.
Okay.
so I may play that before getting into Jedi Survivor. There's that Bayonetta Origins game, which is sort of an isometric thing. That is a platinum joint, but yeah. Resident Evil 4, the remake, coming out on the 24th of March. I've got that pre-ordered. I am confident based on the original game being good, and that Resident Evil 2 remake really puts a lot of expectation of, this thing's got to come out good, surely.
Yeah, well, their previous remakes have, been good, so you hope this one is
too.
The
3 remake I heard was quite good. It's just, not as strong as 2. Crime Boss, Rocky City. Fucking what the fuck? That was the game that I think it was Michael Madsen or someone was on stage at the December Keeleys to announce. And number one, how has that never been the name of a game before? And number two, it's got a bunch of celebrity actors in it.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Real dumb. Have a Nice Death on the 22nd is a game that's currently in early access that I'm really looking forward to. Do you want to go down a bit?
No, that's the first quarter. That'll do.
Is there nothing under Crime Boss?
Oh, sorry, just realised you weren't seeing the whole thing. There we go.
No, not really. R-Type Final 3 evolved on PlayStation 5, but
Sifu
coming out on Xbox. If people don't have the ability to play Sifu, if you like martial arts and you have an interest in the Souls type games, that is a very, very good one of those.
Yep. It's a fairly
Q1.
It's a fairly decent
calendar
Q1.
Q1 looks busy.
It's a fairly decent Q1. It's not. I wouldn't say busy myself, but it's decent.
For what I'm interested in.
Of what you're interested. Yeah, obviously, curious. That question comes down to personal, obviously.
Yes.
But there's 1 or 2 games per month in that first quarter that has me going, I'll keep an eye on that one kind of stuff. But yeah.
I can't remember if we talked about this before, but what's your interest in PSVR 2?
In what?
PSVR 2.
Nah, none whatsoever.
Have you seen the price on that shit?
No. What's the story?
It's more expensive than a fucking PlayStation 5.
No, yeah, okay. Even less so now. I mean, I've got the
to
first
get it in
one,
a bundle with Horizon.
I bought the first one and literally played it for a couple of months, and then VR's not for me.
The VR tracking and everything like that on this one's meant to be a lot better.
It'd want to be.
But in a bundle with Horizon, $950.
Jesus, no, that's ridiculous.
No. So I think there's quite a few things there worth looking forward to. Real quickly, some must-listens from me. Electric Cowboy with an album called Techno. It's basically the Fast and Furious of metal albums this year. It's super dumb but really entertaining, and there's a bunch of weird electronic elements that somehow make it work. And there's a 1.5-minute song they did called Hurricane, which starts off as this weird Eurodance trash pop tune that just goes full breakdown deathcore. It's fucking awesome. And Lorna Shore, Pain Remains, is a fucking fantastic album. Clutch put a new album out called Slaughter on Something Beach, off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yep, that's a very good Clutch album. Good Clutch album.
More in line with Psychic Warfare or other stuff they've done?
I find that Psychic Warfare is pretty close in line to the rest of Clutch's library.
Not that I've played. No, I do agree with that completely.
Oh, okay.
Personally. No,
I'm saying that as someone who has listened to Clutch over time, and it just sort of messes together. It's not the same thing.
But yeah, to me, if you listen to Psychic Warfare from beginning to end, it's actually a story album right through. It's brilliant.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah, so that sort of thing. Yeah. I might have to listen to that.
I really like it. I like it. It probably isn't going to come close in a top 3 albums for me, or even a top 5, top 10 albums for me, because stuff like Ingested had a new album come out. Chelsea Grin's new album with a new vocalist. That's fucking good. Sudden Waves put a new album out, which was a combination of 2 EPs with a couple of bonus songs. There's a few awesome things that have come out since we last did one of these. I pretty much have my top 3 set for Album of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple of things in there that unfortunately won't make it, but I still would like to mention if we do a couple of personalized ones during the old Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I reckon we're done, Graham.
All right, cool.
So, this has been episode 274 of the Should I Play This Game podcast. For this, is this coming? Are we actually putting it up on the 31st?
Yep.
What? It's going to go up.
Yep.
There you go. On the 31st of December. Woo! Get it in just before the end of the year.
Yep.
See, the best part is I don't need to remember what episode number it is anymore. I just need to look at the screen.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Yeah.
And still we both forgot.
And I was sitting there look.
And still we both forgot to say at the beginning of the episode, so it didn't really work. But yeah.
Fuck.
Anyway, we get there.
But I was also looking at the word episode, just making sure you spelled that right.
Mm.
But yeah, we're going to have Game of the Year probably towards the end of January.
Mm-hmm. That's the current plan. Yep.
We'll talk about specific dates, obviously a bit later. I still have a few things scheduled to hit the YouTube channel over the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. At least every Monday and Friday, I think I've got stuff for the next few weeks. You've got Solo Factory.
I haven't. I've got to start recording episode 13 in the next couple of days. So that'll be my next thing. But
Okay.
I'll put that out on a Wednesday sometime coming up.
So yeah, we got some stuff coming on the video front and on the auditory front. But for now, thank you, Graham Banks.
Thank you, Steve.
And top-notch work on the old design on this thing, mate.
Yeah, I think it'll work out well. We'll see. Hopefully it
It
comes out
fucking
okay.
looks alright, eh?
It does.
It looks alright. It's pretty good, bro. Pretty good, eh? Footy! No. Bye.
Bye.
That's the beginning of the end music.
It is too. Where's the other one? That one.
There we go. That's the right music.
That's the one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.